Daddy's gonna be going on a fishing trip soon, right? Okay, can you say good luck, Daddy?
Good luck, Daddy.
Hope you catch some fish.
Hope you can catch some fish.
Okay. Good morning and welcome back to Tightlining Maryland. I am out on Middle Creek, a Keystone Select stream. I usually fish this once a year, so if you've seen a video from here before, it's no surprise. I have a family that live in the area and I was able to sneak up for the weekend. So it is about 5:45 in the morning. I decided to fish here first because I did see some rising trout. Not that I'm going to throw dries to them, but I'm going to nymph. And it's right out the back door. So before I head to the wild streams, I just figured I would check it out, try to get into one of those big Keystone Select trout. But if not, it's a delayed harvest stream. It's only June 6th, though nobody's been keeping any trout out of here unless they've been poaching. So therefore, the numbers should be all right. I'm only going to fish it maybe for an hour. So if I get, 3 to 5 fish, I'll be pretty happy about it. But nevertheless, I appreciate you guys tuning back in and hope you enjoy. Okay, we got our first rainbow. He kind of hit as the flies were starting to swing a little bit. So, we're in a Keystone Select section, so we're hopeful to get into some nice fish today, but this looks like just about the average one. So, let's reel it in a little bit and get him in a hand. See what he took too. It was only like our third drift. It's a good start to the day. Looks like he took the waltz worm. Pretty fish. Alright. There he goes. Not after the prettiest release, but nevertheless, was able to unhook himself. So spunky, but this water's getting warm. This is definitely a warm water stream. It's got rock bass, it's got sunfish, it's got smallmouth, and it's got carp. But because the state stocks it in the spring, it's also got some nice rainbow trout. It will have browns in it too, so we can't exactly say that that's not a possibility either. And as I say, it's got sunfish. There's a huge fat red breast. Looks like he's getting ready to lay eggs. He is fat. Look at this guy. Holy moly. And he also wanted a piece of the waltz worm on the swing. So, man, that guy's a fatty. Back he goes. All right. So 2 fish and about 4 or 5 drifts. 1 rainbow trout, so that's good. There we go. Picked up another rainbow. He was sitting right at the top of that riff. So they got some pretty substantial storms here the other day. And I wasn't even sure if the water was going to be fishable. It's a little higher than I usually fish it. Which I don't fish it a ton, but usually once or twice a year. And I happened to look out the back before getting ready to leave for Kish Creek and saw some fish rising and said to myself, well, you'd be foolish not to stop just for a little bit. And sure enough, here's some fish to this Waltz worm within a couple minutes. And there he goes. All right, so 2 quick fish here. It's not even 6 o'clock. So early start to the day. Just to explain what I'm using so that way we can see the kind of breakdown of everything that we're doing today on the stream. Got my 10-foot 3-weight from Syndicate, usual stuff whenever I'm tight lining. I've got my mono rig that you know, helps me with my double nymphs and streamer and dry dropper. So I've got a little bit more tippet than probably what I need. I've got about 3.5 feet to my first fly, which is the sexy Waltz that I tied up. It's nothing pretty, honestly. I was almost afraid to use it because I didn't think it looked that good, but you know, what fish like and what I like are two very different things. And then finally at the bottom, just about, I would say 18 to 24 inches below, I've got a pink bearded hare's ear, which I honestly thought compared to the Waltz worm would have been the you know, kind of selection for the fish, that's what they would have wanted. So I guess I was wrong though. That's all right. There we go. Picked up a 3rd fish. I haven't really fished more than 10 feet, maybe 20 feet at most. And that's 3 little rainbows that we've picked up. This one's on the pink bearded hare's ear. A little bit smaller trout this time around, real thin. So, gonna get him back in. A couple more days, these guys are gonna be kept. June 15th is the date that this is a delayed harvest section. It's a Keystone Select delayed harvest, and we're fishing it here on the, I guess it's the 6th. But anyway, it's one of those things where I had to get up here before fish started getting kept out of it, because I was hopeful to land a good number of fish, but also not only a good number of fish, but a good fish. We're in search of a 20-inch rainbow. Got that one way back on the swing. So that's good. Up to 4 fish in about 20 minutes. Another rainbow. Usually you get some browns mixed in, but I feel like the browns are usually further upstream. So these have all been really thin browns, or excuse me, really thin rainbows. There we go. What do we get here? Looks like a double, but I don't know of what. A sunfish and a sunfish? That's a first. I've definitely never done that. That's pretty cool. These are some fat sunfish. Holy crap. Felt like a big trout when I hit it first. Man, these fish are on the spawn. Look at that, guys. Look at these sunfish. Holy moly. These are huge red breasts. No, they're not. Excuse me. They're not red breasts. They are just a regular sunfish. Holy crap. That's pretty cool. I mean, they are just stout and full of eggs. Look at the bellies on those things. Ready to lay some eggs. Finally, another trout. I must have caught, God, over a dozen sunfish. I mean, I was crushing the, what is this guy? Can't even tell. Oh, it's just a huge fall fish. I mean, I was just absolutely destroying sunfish to the tune of over a dozen, probably two. Alright, so we're fishing one last section of the Keystone Select stream in hopes to maybe connect with a big fish. Probably hasn't been a lot of people out here recently, just because on Wednesday night of this week, it's now Saturday. On Wednesday, they had a tornado push through and there are laydowns everywhere. The whole stream is lined with them from where I'm staying all the way up to this spot. So we're gonna fish this little run. I know that it holds fish. It usually holds a good number of fish too. So we're gonna fish this and then head on out. But I figure this would be our next spot that would potentially produce some trout before we head on to the wild trout streams. There we go. Picked up another rainbow. This one is on the Waltz worm, I believe. So, ooh, got some fight in them. Nice fish. A little thicker than the last ones. Not huge, but you know, good 12-inch fish. There we go. See you, bud. We got our first brown. So that's good. Stocky, but we'll take it. Alrighty, that's gonna wrap it up here. I didn't get the Keystone Select fish that I was after. I did get a good number of fish. I landed 6 trout, hooked 7, so 6 out of 7 is a pretty good ratio for barbless hooks. And you know, overall, not a bad trip on the stream. I mean, the water is way off color. Tough to see what's going on, and then on top of that, you got laid down trees all throughout the extent of the stream, just from tornado damage. So I'm pretty happy with the results. You know, it's not exactly what I'd hoped for, but it's a good trip. So I hope that you know, you got to see a couple nice trout. Nothing too technical in terms of advice here. You know, you just gotta get the, you know, the one thing I will say about today's trip is that basically I had too much tippet on. So to kind of, instead of cutting down some of the tippet, what I did is that instead of putting the end of the sighter right on the water's edge, I kind of lifted it off of the bottom, or excuse me, off of the top of the water. That way I had a little bit of tippet coming out. So that kind of allowed me to get down without getting caught up as much. So if anything, that would be my advice, is that as you do your drifts, just make sure that you pay attention to how much you're ticking bottom and how often you're getting hung up. Because if you're getting hung up every single cast, well, then you kind of need to shorten up the tippet or raise your rod tip a little bit and get it out of the water. So anyway, thank you for tuning back in. I hope you enjoyed, and look forward to seeing you next time on the stream. Tight lines.